Welcome to Recently Logged, where we are once again doing the most boring variety of episodes. Hello there, everyone.
We sure have been gone for a long time.
Unintentionally, we have taken another quite long hiatus. But we had a lot of stuff going on. We had some stuff.
I had a show. I was the lead in a show, which took like almost a month.
A theatrical production.
Theatrical production.
Okay.
So I have a good reason to not be
I have
here
no
for
good
like
reason.
a month.
I had a birthday, but
Well, if I'm not here, then it's not like you're gonna be down here and be like, "Hi."
the grind never stops.
How's it going?
Anytime we don't record, I actually record a solo episode and just don't release it.
No,
just to stay sharp.
No, I think there's like a recently logged off channel where these get uploaded. It's actually more popular than normal recently logged.
That'd be pretty funny, actually. But yeah, here we are. We're back. We're doing, as I mentioned in the intro, the most boring variety of episodes. But I think the episodes I have the most fun with, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. They're fun. They're
just fun to record. Yeah,
I like doing episodes about specific things. I just don't know if anybody enjoys listening to any of our episodes.
True. That's very true. So what we're doing this time is we're going over all of the movies we watched since we last recorded,
which was
an episode.
A while ago.
So that was on May 14th was the last one that released, and it is currently April 18th. So it has been 32 days, I think. Maybe my math is wrong there, but it's been roughly a month.
Depends how many days are in March.
Yeah, I don't care. Nobody cares.
But yeah, if you're new to the logged of the recently, welcome. Hopefully, we'll be more able to record.
I'm thinking we'll probably do the Batman next week.
Yeah, because it just came back on HBO.
On HBO, so it'll give us a chance to rewatch it and get our thoughts together. So yeah, hopefully that'll be the next time.
There's a couple episodes I definitely would love to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
because we've been watching a lot of movies.
Yeah, we've been watching a lot of movies.
A lot of movies.
But do we want to get into it? Where are we starting with? March
on the 15th.
15th.
Yes.
Okay.
So after we recorded the episode,
because I was about to say I remember talking about all that for the last episode.
After we recorded the West Side Story episode, which you can go listen to, we watched the SpongeBob SquarePants movie again. I don't know what viewing number this was. This was my 8th time logging it.
I'm not sure if I've logged it that many times. Let me see. This is my 10th time logging it.
You're breaking into the double digits, Micah.
Okay, this has depressed me. I saw somebody being like on Twitter, like, "Oh, post your most watched movies from Letterboxd," and like nobody was in the double digits with any of their movies. I'm like, dude,
you just obsessively.
I have double digits on so many movies. What am I doing wrong?
I think I'm in the double digits on like 2 or 3, but not like, I don't think any more than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, it was good. I gave it a 9 out of 10, 4.5 stars. I still think it's great.
I gave it a 4.5. I mean, it's so as stupid as it sounds, it's so precise and it's so funny.
It really is.
And like it's really a great embodiment of like a last hurrah for SpongeBob, because after this movie the show is kind of not good.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's not the same as the show was in a lot of ways, like it definitely sets a new tone and direction for a lot of the show's humor. It does feel like the best version of that version of SpongeBob.
Yeah, I was about to say the kind of change of humor in SpongeBob.
It gets a lot zanier in this, but I think it's for the best. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Obviously.
Like, there's just so much, and like I know some people who are probably like, "Oh, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie." But no, this is good.
4.5. I think a well-earned 4.5. And then the next day, on the 16th of May, we watched...
why was my review March 14th is the day of the Goofy Goobers? Is March 4th? Oh, yeah.
It's the day Krabs Fries.
Oh, right. That's why we watched it.
Yeah.
Because it was the day Krabs Fries.
Yes. But yeah, next day we watched...
Hold on, you're skipping me.
What?
On the 15th, I watched My Dinner with Andre.
Oh. Mr. Fancy Man.
I think I was sick, if I recall.
Probably.
and we turned on a movie, and I was like, wow, this sure is a good movie. Yeah, I was sick, and my mom watched it for the first time.
Micah's like, wow, this sure is a movie.
I still gave it 5 stars. I did a whole video about it. It's a very, very good movie.
Yeah.
Go on.
Definitely. Then, on the 16th, we watched Rise of the Planet of the Apes for the first time.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Yeah, no, I'd heard really good things about these movies, and having just watched The Batman pretty recently, I was like, oh, we should get to some other Matt Reeves movies. And this first one is not directed by Matt Reeves.
No.
It's directed by Rupert Wyatt.
Yes.
But so far, it's actually been my favorite of them, because we've only seen 2 of the 3 now.
Yeah. I don't know which one's my favorite out of the 2. I think I probably like Dawn a bit better, but it's very close. It's like marginal.
But dude, James Franco is
very good in this. Andy Serkis is very good in this.
Right.
And it's a good movie.
No, like it's insanely impressive with this series in general, how they pull off everything in it. And like this movie especially is like it's such a cool movie. Like I forget which review that is, but like one of the reviews was saying like halfway through the movie it turns into like a prison break kind of movie where
right.
He has to like amass followers, and like it's a really, really neat story the way it plays out.
Shout out to Maurice in this movie.
Shout out to Maurice. That is my buddy right there.
Hope he doesn't die in the 3rd one.
He almost died in the 2nd one.
I'll be very sad. But yeah, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I gave it a 4.5.
I gave it a 4. I wasn't as in love with it as I wanted to be. It was really, really good though.
Yeah.
On the 17th, I watched The Sum of All Fears. 2002, Ben Affleck, Morgan Freeman.
Heyo.
It was really, really boring and really, really forgettable. Like
yeah, it sounds like it. When you said 2000s Ben Affleck, I'm like, oh no.
I can't really remember what the sum of all fears was. I think it was they go into like nuclear war or something with Russia.
Dang.
Which was...
Oh yeah, no, I caught like 2 scenes from that. It looked pretty bad.
Yeah, it just wasn't very good. It wasn't awful, but it was just mostly boring.
I see.
So I gave it 2.5. Yeah.
Alrighty. And then on the 17th, we watched Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. The second in the new Planet of the Apes trilogy. What?
Okay, on the 16th. I can't believe... Sorry, guys. This is terrible to listen to. I'm ruining the entire flow of the podcast.
Oh, no, Micah.
On the 16th, I watched Lessons of Darkness.
Okay.
I don't know how I zoomed past it. Werner Herzog documentary.
Is this your first Herzog, Micah?
I think it's my first Herzog.
Wow.
Yes. It was absolutely fantastic. I really, really loved what it was doing. It's beautiful. It's really touching. It's the most unique documentary I've ever seen. I know, like he said, he commented on the movie and said he would like to think of it more as a sci-fi movie than a documentary, and I could very much see that, the way it approaches how it's filmed and how it's told. But it's just a really, really neat documentary in general. I give it 5 stars.
There you go. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to it. But yeah,
Dawn of the
Planet of the Apes. Third Matt Reeves movie, I believe, for us.
Yeah. Batman, Cloverfield, Dawn.
And now this. And this was very, very good. Andy Serkis somehow kicks it up a notch in this. The filmmaking somehow gets kicked up a notch in this.
Andy Serkis is so good.
He's so good. How is he so good in this? How do the VFX look so good in this? That's my question.
See, my biggest thing with this movie is, like, outside of the apes, I don't really like any of the characters.
It's
really annoying.
The boring human characters.
What
are they doing here?
I like Gary Oldman, but, like, I'm so bored with all that.
I honestly forgot Gary Oldman was in this.
Exactly. Like that's my biggest problem with this, and I put it in my review that it's not, like, thematically as rich, and I think it doesn't keep me as interested in any bit of the conflict towards the end.
Dude, the mom from Ant-Man was in this.
like
that's really funny.
Like I liked the why did I just lose his name? The radicalized ape man.
I don't know who you're thinking of. Koba?
Koba.
Yeah.
I really liked the Koba stuff, like Caesar and Koba stuff in this. Yeah. That was so good.
I mean, that's like the
But like the human stuff is just kind of boring.
I could see that. That's a valid complaint. I thought it was great though. I like I said, I liked it just as much, if not better, than the first one. It's just a very humane movie,
dude. That scene where Koba comes in and like pretends to be like, oh, and then he grabs the gun and like shoots them point blank. Dude. That was such a good scene.
I love this movie, dude. It's so good.
Koba's such a fun antagonist.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5. I think it's a smidge off of perfect.
I gave it a 4.
And then on the 18th, unless I'm forgetting something.
No.
Okay. I'm so cautious now.
I've been the one skipping everything.
Okay, we watched Tick Tick Boom.
Tick Tick Boom for the first time.
The directorial debut of Mr. Lin-Manuel Miranda.
2021 movie.
At least for the screen. I'm pretty sure he's directed some plays before.
Nah.
But yeah, Tick Tick Boom. It was good. Luke, good friend of the podcast, has been trying to get us to watch this since it released, and we finally have. I mean, I wasn't like against watching it.
No, and neither was I. We just never
did. Yeah.
I really love Andrew Garfield in this. I've always been a really big Andrew Garfield fan.
He's great in this.
Like he really works well with this role.
Yeah.
I think how I've kind of felt about this, especially being that I've kind of sat on it for a while now, is that I really like the musical numbers, and I really like a lot of the things that this movie is trying to do.
Yeah.
But it almost kind of feels flat in a lot of ways to me.
Yeah.
So much of it, like thinking back, I'm like, this really isn't a movie that I'd watch again, even though I really like it.
I think I'd watch it again. It just feels a little disjointed in a lot of ways. It really needed some stronger direction behind it. But I mean, like even for this being a debut, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, my biggest like problems with it are in a lot of the structuring of the writing and stuff.
No, yeah.
And while I think it's a really like smart adaptation of Tick Tick Boom, I don't think like
it's pretty cool.
I think it's probably the best way you could bring Tick Tick Boom to the screen in terms of idea. I think it's like, I don't know, like just something about it feels so almost fake to me.
Oh, yeah, no, see, when you said you liked the musical numbers, I was actually going to cite that as like one of the things that I wasn't like super fond of, because it's kind of a lot of the stuff.
I like the music.
Okay. I was like a lot of the way they're done feels very superficial, and it lends itself to just kind of disconnecting you from a lot of it. And
yeah,
I'm not a fan of that.
I'll compare the musical numbers and feel, like the actual numbers themselves, to The Greatest Showman and feel. They feel very flashy,
similar
very
problem. I
fake,
think
very.
Because Greatest Showman, music rocks.
No, yeah, the music's good, and I think the music's great.
Yeah, the music's great in this too. But the musical numbers themselves just feel very. They feel like I'm made to. They feel like they were made for me to watch them later on YouTube or something.
Yeah, like they feel like a little music video.
And I'm like, it's not. I'm not. It just doesn't mesh very well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff emotionally and tonally and structurally that don't mesh as well as I would like them to in this movie.
Yeah.
That being said, I still really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The performances are all fantastic. Like I said, I really liked the songs. I really liked quite a bit of the cinematography in it.
Yeah.
And the costuming, and like it's a very enjoyable movie. I really do think just the way the songs and everything were incorporated and filmed and structured is one of the things that hurt the movie the most.
Yeah. And they're still cool on their own, just they don't mesh very well. But yeah, Tick Tick Boom, I gave it a 4.5. I honestly don't think... I did bring up like things that bother me about it, but I don't think they're big enough problems that it would detract too much.
I gave it a 4, and I still think it's not to use this word lightly, but a genius adaptation of Tick Tick Boom, because I think Tick Tick Boom was a very like unique stage play to try and
right. Yeah, I was about to say it's not something I would think of and be like, oh yeah, try and put that on in a movie. But yeah, Tick Tick Boom, very good. We'll probably do an episode on it sometime. And then the next day, later that day, we watched
that very same day
a Guillermo del Toro movie for the first time.
Well, not a Guillermo del Toro movie for the first time. This Guillermo del Toro movie for the first time. We watched Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim, yeah. Good kaiju movie. Finally.
Good kaiju movie. It's still not really my cup of tea. I think a lot of what I don't like about this is kind of what I've seen a lot of people complain about with this movie, is that like all of the main like mecha characters just kind of feel like all of the storyline with just the main characters feels kind of like flat.
I could see that for sure. I didn't really mind.
No, I mean
personally.
like I don't. I gave it.
Yeah.
Like I gave the movie a 3.5. It's good, but it's not my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Really, I think what saves this movie, and this is kind of what I've seen people say about this, and I very much agree with it. They were like, it's the most like mid, just like just unoffensively good movie. There's nothing insane about it. But the reason it's as good as it is in general is because Guillermo del Toro's love for like craft of movies comes through in it so hard.
Right.
Because Guillermo del Toro puts so much love into anything he's working on. And you really feel that in this, which helps it like be just such a better movie.
I was about to say this with another director, even with its cast, would probably just be kind of boring and forgettable. But it is very good. I actually gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, like I said, I gave it a 3.5. Far from my favorite from Del Toro, but still like really enjoyable.
Yeah,
way more enjoyable than I thought it would be.
Still a really fun movie. And then the next day on the 19th, we watched Pig, finally.
For the first time. Also 2021.
I've been wanting to see it ever since it debuted at festivals and stuff. I was like, oh man, that looks dope. And it was. Turns out Pig is good.
Turns out Pig is fantastic.
But yeah, very good movie. Nicolas Cage, Alex Wolff, 2021 film.
Okay, so I know this seems exactly like the kind of thing that I would love more than everybody else, but like this movie deserves more love.
Wow.
I really love like everything this movie is doing. The way it balances its characters, the way it world builds, the way it ties everything into its very succinct, very underplayed but powerful themes. There's a lot of really good imagery, cinematography, costuming. Like, I think thematically it works brilliantly. I love the cast.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's a fantastic film. I don't know what else to say, you know?
It's very simple, it's very short, it's very sweet. Shout out to Alex Wolff.
It's basically just John Wick, but good.
It's John Wick, but better.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, no, Pig is great. If you have the means to watch it, I would recommend it. It's very good. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. It's just a very beautiful movie. Man, like, a good chunk of filmmaking.
Like I think every scene, like thinking about any scene, I'm like, wow, that's a good scene.
That's a good scene. Exactly. No, when I came upstairs, Micah rewatched this later on, and when I came upstairs into every scene, I was like, oh, it's actually a pretty good scene.
It's such a good movie. I love it. I gave it 5 stars.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5. I didn't think it was quite there, but it was good.
At the top of my review, I put John Wick, but epic.
John Wick, but epic.
Then I watched on the 19th Scooby-Doo Music of the Vampire.
Ooh.
Which regrettably was not that great of a Scooby-Doo
Regrettably.
movie. The main reason is instead of like, I mean, there were still some really good comedic bits in here, but instead of having like an interesting story or a majority of comedic bits, they instead had musical numbers. Like, this is a musical.
Oh.
And it has no reason to be. The music does nothing.
Well, it's called Music of the Vampire, but so it had to be.
Okay, but it's called Music of the Vampire for what, though?
I know.
No, you don't understand. There's actually no reason. The vampire is not what brings it musically.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they just start breaking out into songs.
Weird.
It doesn't make any sense. All in all, it's not that bad. And it's still got like a lot of really funny line deliveries and bits. But like the musical numbers are just so forgettable, add nothing, and actually subtract from what could be more interesting.
Dang.
That it just is kind of disappointing.
I'm still gonna watch it.
Well, it still is a Matthew Lillard musical.
That's true.
I gave it 3 stars.
And then after that, we watched The Rundown, a 2003 action movie. with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Christopher Walken too, which he's quite good in this.
I still don't like Christopher
I don't know,
Walken
man.
in like any role I've ever seen him in.
My review of this movie was like it needed better editing cinematography, but at the end I said the more I see Christopher Walken in, the more I like him.
I don't know how. He's so annoying to me.
He's quite good in this, Micah.
Like honestly,
he's so much fun.
He's just an actor that grates on my nerves. I don't like him in anything I've seen him in.
Dang. That's harsh, Micah.
No, I really like.
What about Hairspray?
No, I don't like him in Hairspray. I don't like him in Catch Me If You Can. I just don't like the guy.
Darn.
I really don't like him. He's my least favorite part of Sleepy Hollow.
What?
Like
He's pretty good in
I
Sleepy
really
Hollow.
kind of wish it was anybody else in Sleepy Hollow.
Okay, well, but anyway, the rundown 2003 action movie
was not good.
Kind of fun. It's teetering on the edge of like really fun pulpy movie, but it's just kind of too bad to be there.
Yeah, I don't know how you rated it. Like I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you rated this as high as you did.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's cool.
It's doing a lot of like fun
Yeah.
things. It's doing a lot of creative things. None of them very well, and every character in this movie annoyed me.
Well, that makes sense.
It may have been that I had a splitting headache while we watched this movie, or it may have been that they just annoy me. The other guy, that guy in the background on the poster, you can't see it, but he's there.
Who is that guy?
He annoyed me so much.
Sean William Scott.
I hated him being in this movie, and I didn't like Christopher Walken.
Dude, apparently he's an American Pie alumni. That makes so much sense.
and I just did not like the movie. I did not enjoy my experience, save for a couple moments where they did fun bits.
Yeah, I had fun. I don't know.
Some of the action scenes are really fun.
There's a lot of stuff that really annoyed me about it, but like you said, there's a lot of like really fun choreography and sets and set pieces. I don't know. I had a fun time.
Yeah, my review is maybe it's just that my head is killing me, but I wouldn't have minded if Dwayne Johnson used a gun and killed just everyone in this movie.
Dang. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was pretty good, but not great.
I gave it a 2.5. Then on the 20th, I watched Stowaway. 2021.
Stowaway.
Which is a weird movie.
Toni Collette's in it.
Anna Kendrick, Toni Collette, Daniel Day Kim.
Nice.
Like it's an interesting cast. This is the only movie I think I've ever seen Toni Collette use her actual accent, which was weird.
Yeah, where's she from?
She's Australian.
She's Australian. That's weird. That's so weird.
But yeah, it's pretty much what everybody said about it. It's pretty much just a movie about a game of Lifeboat, but like in real life.
IRL.
But they don't do anything with its themes.
Dang.
It's just that.
It's just like a thought experiment. There's no like thematic richness
literally,
to it.
they're like, oops, there's a stowaway. He's gonna take up too much oxygen and food.
Oh no.
I wonder what crazy antics will play out from this.
But yeah, no, I could see that.
And that's it. Like,
isn't it a Netflix original?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
I want to watch it sometime.
It was boring, unfortunately. It's got a cast of literally 4 people, which was cool, but like
it's got a cast of literally 4 people.
Yeah, there are like some good scenes, but because like the actors are giving good performances, but there's like nothing behind them.
Just a weak screenplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I gave it 3 stars.
And then on
I was gonna say, at the beginning of my review it says it's a pretty decent overall, but ultimately ends up feeling very lifeless and boring because it feels like it has absolutely nothing to say.
Well, there you go.
Then on the 21st, I watched Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring Extended Edition for the first time.
I caught a couple scenes from, and it is better than I remember.
I was also still very sick while watching this, so I was like, why not turn on the Extended Edition?
Wood is like unprecedented in every movie, but he's great in this.
I'll be brief with this, because whatever.
There's so much to say about it.
It's absolutely fantastic. Love it. Amazing. Perfect. Beautiful. Cinema. All the performances. You could go on about this movie forever. I genuinely think it's one of the greatest movies out there.
I think it's the best of the trilogy. Call me crazy.
The Extended Edition, again, this was my first time watching it. It was cool. I liked seeing all the stuff that we didn't get to see. But as movies go, I do think it actually made the movie a little worse. But I still really enjoyed it. And
all the
whatever.
real Lord of the Rings fans just died a little, Micah.
It ruins the structure and payoffs, okay?
I don't doubt it. The extended editions can be hit or miss most of the time.
Yeah, like they cut it for a reason.
Exactly, yeah.
It's cool to see all of the added stuff, though. I rather enjoyed it.
Cool.
Then on the 21st.
Then on the 21st, we watched Best in Show.
Which was a rewatch.
Which is quickly becoming one of my favorite comedies.
Okay, it's a comedy
so
with
good.
a bunch of adorable dogs. How could it not
Exactly. Not only is it absolutely hilarious and a mockumentary, but it also has many, many adorable dogs in it.
I watched it for the first time in a car ride when Robbie was
So did
watching
I.
it in headphones, and I didn't have any of the audio.
You didn't get any of the
but
audio.
I read the subtitles.
There are so many good
and it
line
was-
deliveries in this.
And I loved it a lot just doing that. And like having audio obviously just increases the movie.
There's so many good bits in this. I think that was actually my review this time. Is there's just like all-time great comedic bits in this.
Yeah, I mean, I really loved it. Love the dogs.
It's kind of like one of the most elegant comedies I've ever seen. It feels weird to say it, but it's so elegantly structured.
I was about to say its structure is so just like.
It just comes together so seamlessly. I don't know how they did it, honestly.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a comedy in terms of its structure, even though it's like blatantly a comedy.
Yeah, it's so obviously a comedy. But yeah, great performances, brilliantly written, performed. I don't know. It's great. It's a great comedy. Go watch it.
I give it a 4.5.
Yeah, so did I. It's really good.
Then on the 23rd, we watched The Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book.
First time watching it in forever.
I think I said this was like my first time watching it in like 8 years or something.
I had been watching a lot of the 60s, 50s, and 70s Disney movies.
Yes.
And unfortunately, this one is kind of how I remembered it growing up. I never was really a big fan of it growing up. It always felt kind of flat and boring and not as interesting as any of the rest of them.
Yeah.
Which I will say that I think the reason for that is because it has a terrible soundscape.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say terrible soundscape, just not a very involved soundscape.
It's not a rich soundscape.
No.
You're just moving from thing to thing without any like richness.
It feels insanely dry, like almost insufferably dry movie.
Yeah, it almost feels hard to watch with how much it
Right.
feels like it's asking of you to watch it. And that sucks because I like a lot of the elements of it.
Yeah.
Dude, like the music is absolutely fantastic. I really like the songs in it.
Right.
And like the animation looks good, but like it's just
Some of the animation is so funny in this.
so draining to watch.
It is. It's a very draining movie. I said it's pretty mixed on a lot of its elements, but the music and the elephants in this are perfect.
Yeah, I said the script is pretty good actually, and there's some really fun
Yeah,
bits
it's fun
and
script, fun
moments
script.
and songs. But man, if this isn't one of the most dry Disney movies I've ever seen, there's no atmosphere at all. You never feel anything paired with this beautiful animation and fun ideas.
It feels like it's sucking my soul dry. But not always in a bad way.
Like it's not as extreme as that while you're watching it, but it does feel like it's actively taking out of you to watch the movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I give it a 3.5. I don't think it's bad by any stretch. I just don't think it's quite there.
Yeah,
you know?
I gave it a 3.
Yeah.
Then on the 24th, I watched Alice in Wonderland.
Ayo.
Actually, I think it was really late that night.
Ayo.
I don't remember.
Alice in Wonderland.
I've been sick.
Great movie. It's in my top 50.
1951 Disney movie, obviously. Very, very good. Very, very cool movie to watch anytime you're tired. It's very relaxing and nice to watch. Oh yes, I do remember. This is we were in Florida.
We were in Florida.
So yeah.
Pretty crazy.
I did watch this to fall asleep to.
Good movie to fall asleep to.
No, yeah,
honestly.
that's, I think all of the 50s through 70s Disney movies are really nice movies to fall asleep to. I give it 3.5. It's fun. It's inventive. It's got great animation, but it's not
Only
always
a 3.5.
But it's not always the most engaging, interesting, or thematically cohesive thing to me. Never.
You just don't get it.
Never ever since I was young did I like the ending of the movie.
The ending's so good. It's so good.
I just don't like the ending.
Okay. Well, But anyway, while we were in Florida.
Yeah, I was going to say, also on the 24th.
24th, we went out to the theater with our grandpa and watched The Batman. And he thought it was... I don't know. What did he say exactly?
We also watched it with our mom.
Yeah, that's true. Also with our mom for the first time.
But he said it was too dark for him.
Yeah, too dark.
And not specifically in the filmmaking, like lighting, but like the story. He didn't like that it was like essentially like a serial killer movie.
It's just a crime movie is all it is, really.
Still really fantastic somehow.
Yeah.
The way it's structured, the way it's paced, scene to scene, the action, the characters, it's all really, really fantastic.
It's just a really good movie.
Like shockingly, actually, just really solid. But I think what plays to what could tell you the fact that it's really solid is that it's 3 hours, and I've never heard anybody complain about the fact that it's 3 hours.
Right. Shout out to Greg Fraser and Michael Giacchino. They're the real MVPs here.
Honestly, dude, Greg Fraser and Michael Giacchino paired together.
Looks so good. This movie sounds so good.
It's fantastic.
But
I give it a 5 still, and it's still it's a 5.
I bumped it down to a 4.5, but I think it's just barely not at a 5.
Yeah, I just personally feel like it really works for me on an emotional level too, so it kind of wraps it up into, because I still have some qualms with the end, as I think it's probably the best criticism you could make of the movie, but we'll talk about it sometime probably. Then we watched Uncharted.
We went to the theater the next day and watched the new Mark Wahlberg movie.
2 theaters, 2 times, 2 days in a row. That was nice.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Uncharted fan. Favorite game series, as game series goes.
The game franchises.
Yeah. So I was not really looking forward to this.
Who doesn't like Uncharted, honestly?
Because, it just is, nothing about this is very Uncharted-y. And I could, looking at it, I kind of hated the cast. And the movie itself... Because of how lack of Uncharted-y, it's you can easily separate it from Uncharted, and it just kind of feels like a random.
Yeah, it just feels like some random action adventure movie
that sometimes is that's kind of similar to Uncharted.
Hey, this is kind of like Uncharted. Yeah,
it really doesn't play that much like an Uncharted.
No.
Uncharted thing, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm glad if they aren't going to do the games justice, kind of disassociate from the games.
But it still just wasn't that great. It's fine. There's some fun stuff. I didn't like Mark Wahlberg.
Wow, big shocker.
Could just stop it there. Dude, a criminal usage of Antonio Banderas. I love Antonio Banderas. And they did him so dirty in this movie. They wasted him.
They had Antonio Banderas right there, and they just wasted him.
Tom Holland.
Sad times.
Tom Holland as Nathan Drake isn't like Nathan Drake at all.
No,
but he's
nothing like Nathan Drake.
Like the character, not even just him as a person. The character in the movie is absolutely nothing.
Just wildly different from the games.
Which again, fine.
But yeah, fine, whatever.
I'm kind of glad he wasn't, because I don't think he would have done a good job being the game guy. And it was.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's a fine movie.
It's fine. Yeah.
I give it a 3.5. I thought it was fun enough.
I gave it a 3. I thought it was fun enough.
Yeah, exactly.
On the 25th, we watched, I guess that's the same day, we came home and we watched Bringing Up Baby.
We did.
For the first time.
Very first time. And you know what?
Very funny.
Very funny movie. I think it's dangerous to watch this as a single man. Because you'll just be convinced that you just need a woman who's into shenanigans and stuff.
Right.
That's
it appeals to the male fantasy of having a woman come in and absolutely wreck your life.
Exactly. That's basically Bringing Up Baby in a nutshell. But yeah, very good movie. I think it definitely earns its reputation as one of the great screwball comedies of the 30s.
Yeah. I said, the original Gaslight Gatekeep Girl.
Right, for real. I compared it a lot to Bogdanovich's What's Up, Doc?
Which I think I did too, and I think it's pretty clear that, What's Up, Doc was a 70s movie.
Yeah, it's 40 years
trying
later,
to be one of this era comedies.
I think it's very clear. I think this movie is very clearly an influence for What's Up, Doc.
Because they're pretty much the same story.
Yeah, it's basically the same story.
A man, timid scientist man who is engaged to controlling woman meets...
he loses a precious artifact.
Loses a precious artifact due to trying to get funding for something, and meets a woman who not only helps but also hurts.
Who gaslights and gatekeeps in girl bosses. That's basically the movie.
Leads to shenanigans, comedy, and they're the same movie.
It's the same movie.
And it can't be a mistake. I can't believe that it would be a mistake. But I gave this a 4.5.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5 too. Great movie. I'm on the Katharine Hepburn train now.
I was about to say, shout out to Katharine Hepburn.
She's so good in this.
Also go watch The Aviator.
The Aviator.
Then on the 26th, I watched the Premature Burial.
Okay. What was that like?
Per my grandma's suggestion.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Actually, see, she mentioned it, and then I can't speak. She mentioned it, and then suggested not to watch it. So my mom turned it on.
Of course.
And it was actually doing some pretty unique, fun things filmmaking-wise for a horror movie in the 60s. I really, it didn't feel like a 60s
Wow, it was a 60s movie?
Yeah.
Okay, I assumed, from what she had said, that it would be like a 30s or 40s movie, but apparently not.
Yeah, no. But, it was still just, not that great of a screenplay.
Dang.
I don't think it was a good story to adapt to film at all.
Was it about the same level as that one adaptation of The Raven we saw?
Yeah, it feels very similar to that. Because just adapting Edgar Allan Poe to film is weird.
It's weird, yeah.
It's poetry. You gotta add more than what he gives, which these usually don't. But it was fun. It had good atmosphere, really good sets, and like I said, some really creative things in the filmmaking, which I was not expecting.
Good.
I gave it 3 stars.
That afternoon, I watched The Shaggy Dog with my grandpa for the very first time.
The Shaggy Dog.
The 50s one, not the Tim Allen one, which apparently everyone hates the Tim Allen one.
Well, there you go. You dodged a bullet.
But I watched the old Shaggy Dog, and my only note is that David Lynch should have directed this.
Dude, literally.
And it would be so good.
Literally, I saw some of it. It would have been so funny if you literally just, put the Twin Peaks score over the movie. Put pauses between the dialogue. Dude, and had David Lynch direct.
Just literally hand this to David Lynch, and it would have been a suburban horror masterpiece. Right now, it just comes off as a kind of weak suburban, comedy. So, I don't know. It was fun. I had fun. It's got cool atmosphere, I guess. Some cool special effects.
Send it to David Lynch. Ask him.
Feel like, David, you have to remake The Shaggy Dog 1959 with Fred McMurray. Yeah, Fred McMurray's pretty good in this.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's always good.
Fred McMurray.
He's always good. Yeah.
What did you rate it?
I give it a 3.5. It was fun.
Yeah, and then on the 26th, on the way home...
Whoa.
I watched Ender's Game. I had been wanting to watch it for a while.
Certified Gamer Classic Ender's Game.
I think I know it's not the moral of the book, but the moral comes off in this movie because of the poor way it handles its themes. The moral comes off as don't play COD or you might commit genocide.
Whoops. That seems a little far-fetched.
It feels so much less about how the kids are exploited and more about how they did a terrible thing. And it's really weird.
That's kind of funny, actually.
The cast is cool, but it's just such a weird movie, and it handles everything so weirdly.
I want to see it, honestly.
I honestly kind of want to rewatch it. There's some element of it that's really enjoyable, but again, the way it handles its themes is so not good to me that it makes it kind of laughable to watch.
Dang.
I give it 3 stars. Oh yeah, and the VFX are actually really, really good in this movie.
Really?
Surprisingly,
I just assumed mid 2010s sci-fi, mid-budget sci-fi movie. I didn't expect the VFX to look good at all.
No, I think the VFX look pretty great.
Wow, there you go.
I give it 3 stars.
All right. Did you watch anything on
Not on the 28th.
Okay, I was about to say on the 28th I watched Johnny English Strikes Again. I had previously watched Johnny English, and apparently I was supposed to watch Johnny English Reborn. That's the second one.
Oh.
But I don't really care that much. And it was fine. I think. Wait, let me just read my review. It's pretty short. I said I liked the first film, but most of the bits in this get stale pretty fast. Not unenjoyable, but very frictionless and predictable for most of its runtime.
See, and like that's kind of how I like less so because like the first Johnny English is clearly better.
Good. Yeah,
but like because I didn't watch that one, but like that's kind of how I felt about Johnny. Like I like Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, he's fun.
But I'm not a big Johnny English guy.
Yeah, Johnny English Strikes Again. Very frictionless movie. Some good bits, some bad bits. It's a pretty mixed bag. I gave it a 6, or rather a 3 out of 5.
Then on the 29th.
The 29th.
I rewatched The Red Shoes.
The Red Shoes. That's a great movie.
Which has grown to be one of my favorite movies.
Good.
Shout out to The Red Shoes.
It's because you're a theater kid, Micah.
I am a theater kid.
That's the only reason.
Man, it's so fantastic, and its dancing sequences are so good, and I will talk about that actually a little bit later because we're talking about some more movies.
We should do a Red Shoes episode sometime.
But like, man, everything about this is so dialed in and so good, and it's insane that it was made when it was, and the color is so beautiful.
I can't believe it was made in the 40s, dude.
Right? It's
That's
a
insane.
40s movie.
That's insane.
And the cast is fantastic. Yeah, 5 stars. Absolutely outstanding. Then on the 30th, I rewatched Pig. Still gave it 5 stars.
Micah's like, Pig, good movie. On the 31st, I watched the new HBO Max original Moonshot. It was fine. It was pretty good, actually. It's got Cole Sprouse in it, and he's Cole Sprouse.
Shout out to Cole Sprouse.
That's the movie. But yeah, no, it was fun. Like, I don't know, as far as modern rom-coms go, like it's a very scarce. It's very, very scarce that you find a good one, and this one's pretty good. It's not great or anything. I said it had surprisingly natural and understated world building, which I did not expect. But it's not like amazing. It's just like better than I thought it would be. But yeah, fine, fun. I gave it a 3.5. It was cool. And I also rewatched The Young Girls of Rochefort, which is, I believe, in my top 50. It should be, yeah. My favorite Jacques Demy film. It gets better every time I watch it. I don't know how they did.
It's better every time.
Gene Kelly's in it.
Gene Kelly.
He's quite good.
Then on the 1st, we watched Scooby-Doo Franken Creepy.
Franken Creepy.
Which was a pretty fun Scooby-Doo movie, as Scooby-Doo movies go.
It was fun. I liked it.
I liked a lot of what they were doing. Liked a lot of the bits. It had 70s Shaggy for some reason. Like, it had all of the 70s cast for the show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is weird, coming from 2014.
Yeah, that was cool. That was such a neat, like, detail. I forgot about that. Dang.
But yeah, no, it's, like, I said it might actually be the most insane and unhinged movie committed to taking its bits to as far as they can be that I've ever seen.
It's so weird.
Like, it really does, like the movie almost kind of feels like you're going insane a bit with how much it like fully commits to every single whacked out bit that it has to offer.
The Death of the Mystery Machine bit is so funny in this.
Dude, in the editing, the editing in this is actually insane.
Unhinged.
I actually forgot about that.
I don't know if it's great, but it definitely is unhinged.
It is unhinged. Like it'll be like oh, let's go to this next scene, and then it'll cut like 50 times in 5 seconds to like them getting ready, them putting something on, like in like a really snappy way that like isn't terrible to watch. Like, I don't know, it's so weird.
Weird movie.
It's really cool, but
good movie.
But it's really whacked out.
I give it a 3.5.
I really enjoyed it. I give it a 3.5 as well. What did you watch?
I watched, now looking at the poster, it looks very similar to the Squid Games poster from far away. I was like, did I log Squid Games?
Everybody's like, Squid Games.
Squid Games.
IDK.
I watched Anina, which is I'm trying to remember what country it's from.
Into this. I was about to say they spoke Spanish.
Yeah, it's a Uruguayan. I don't know if that's the correct word. It was produced in Uruguay. Movie, animated, and it was pretty fun. I don't know. It was a little generic. I know it's an adaptation of a kid's book, so that's usually a problem with a lot of stuff similar to this. But it was fun. I wish I had a bigger animation budget and just a bit stronger of a screenplay.
Yeah, the bit I watched, because I watched quite a bit of the ending, fun. Actually. It just seemed a little flat and a little, like, slow. Yeah. Because, again, it was an adaptation of a book.
Very one note, I think, in a lot of ways. But it was fun. I gave it a 3.5.
Then on the second, I watched, or rewatched rather, and it was actually that night, Watership Down.
Good movie.
Which has grown to be one of my favorite movies of all time.
Look at those little bunnies go.
It's so good. I'm actually talking about it in the new video I'm doing.
That's
Believe
insane,
it or not.
How could you do it?
Really, really fantastic. I love how this movie came out of nowhere. I got the Criterion for it before I had seen the movie, just because I was like, it looks cool.
The bunnies look cool.
I trusted the fact that it was a 70s movie and that people I knew liked it. And then I turned it on and was like blown away.
Micah's like, this is the greatest film ever made.
I really do love it. I gave it 5 stars.
Very cool. That night, as he was watching Watership Down, I retreated to the basement and watched Sorry to Bother You for the first time. 2018 Boots Riley movie, which I believe, this is his debut. And my goodness, if I make something even close to this good on my directorial debut, I don't know what I'm going to do. Make more movies, I guess.
Which he is not.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's got another one lined up.
Well, he hasn't yet. That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, no, it's fantastic. I don't know. I feel like everyone who has heard about Sorry to Bother You knows what it is for the most part. It's one of the more bonkers films I've seen in a while. Lakeith Stanfield is really good in this. The direction's really good. The writing is amazing. Set design's amazing. It's just a great movie. I said in my review, this is the kind of movie I want to make. So, Sorry to Bother You. Great movie. Loved it. And later that afternoon, or I guess I slept between these. I watched the new Netflix movie, Windfall, with Jason Segel.
And Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons. Shout out to Jesse Plemons for real. There's a cast of 4 people. And they're all great. So,
Was it a good movie?
It was good. I thought it was great. Apparently it seems to be a little not... most people don't seem to think it's quite as good as I do, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a sucker for Jesse Plemons. He plays a rich jerk in this movie. But yeah, Windfall, I said it was surprisingly classical in a lot of its filmmaking styles, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Nice. Then on the third, we watched, I don't know why it's just called Stormbreaker on here. The title is Alex Rider Operation Stormbreaker. That's what's on the poster. Apparently, that's what the movie is called, but it's just listed on Letterboxd as Stormbreaker.
Maybe when they released it to the US, because it is a British movie. Maybe when they released it to the US, they were like, the Americans are too dumb. They'll never figure out the title of the movie. So we're just gonna shorten it.
So the only positive things that I can say about this movie are that it features Alicia Silverstone and Ewan McGregor, but they're hardly in the movie.
Right.
And sometimes it has a fun bit.
Indeed it does. I think it's fine. I actually think it's a pretty fine movie. It's whatever. But it just it has such a boring protagonist that it's really just a chore to get through.
Right, Robbie put that the protagonist is literally the least interesting thing happening, and it really is.
The movie spends most of its runtime with Alex Rider, and he's just the most boring, generic person of all time.
He does nothing. He grows not at all, and he has no emotion other than just that's so. I don't even know. How does he interact with people?
He doesn't.
He's so weird.
He's like an NPC.
And then
so weird.
he gets to his undercover assignment and is immediately extremely hostile.
Right.
He doesn't try to blend in at all, and he actually knows he doesn't spend any of his time. Don't they tell him to research computers to where he can act like a computer guy.
Yeah.
And then he shows up and he doesn't know
He just
anything
doesn't
about
do
computers.
anything. He's just like the worst person in the world. Dude, I swear, this movie...
I gave it 1 star.
I gave it a 2.5. I think it's pretty solid in a lot of ways, but it just like has so many bad things working against it that it's not worth your trouble in any way.
Then we went to the theater.
The theater for my birthday.
The Godfather
We
on
watched
Robbie's
The
birthday.
Godfather.
For the first time.
Yeah, for the very first time watching it.
Gosh. And guess what? It's fantastic.
Guess what, Micah? One of the most highly regarded movies in cinema history is really good.
It's like I don't know. It was so cool to see in theaters for the first time. Like,
right?
It's such a cool movie.
Cool movie.
I really love its atmosphere. And dude, like I said, I put in my review, like movies. This movie shows that no other movie should like have bad lighting.
Right?
Good lighting can be achieved.
Good lighting.
This is fantastic lighting.
Can be achieved.
The lighting
Call
in
the
this
number below.
The lighting in this is so amazing.
Right?
I was in love with the lighting in
Hard
this.
to believe how dark almost every scene in this
Exactly.
is. And it's still like everything is super visible.
So that's what I've been talking about a lot recently.
We need more of that.
Modern movies and modern blockbusters for some reason just do this thing where they're like really, really dark and hard to see what's going on.
They just shoot with the lights off instead of like lighting it so it looks dark.
Exactly. And people are like, yeah, well, it works in theaters, and like kind of, but like this still looks absolutely amazing. Like half the scenes in this are nothing but like blackness, except for the stuff that you're supposed to see, which you can see really well.
You know, a lot of 70s movies and 60s movies do that really well.
Yeah.
Just good lighting. But yeah, The Godfather, one of those movies that kind of like washes over you with how long it is.
Right.
But in a good way. Good stuff. Almost suffocatingly good.
You transcend with The Godfather.
The baptism sequence is honestly like one of the best things in cinema ever, I think.
Like I said afterwards, though, I think it's kind of funny how 90% of the movie is just like bouncing around from different killing scenes.
Yeah, it's either like welcome to the family, have a meatball, or someone's dying. That's basically the movie.
Then that night, we watched A Town Called Panic.
Yeah. Best movie ever? Question mark?
You're wrong. In every way.
Dude, when are you going to come around and love A Town Called Panic?
Listen, I will admit that it's a good movie. I gave it 3.5.
It's so funny.
It's just not that good. Like, I don't think it's
you need to get some culture.
It's not that strong in any sense, Robbie.
You need to eat a bagel.
The story and the screenplay are not that good.
This movie is like the film embodiment of a bagel. I don't know how that metaphor works, but I think anyone who has seen it would agree.
I disagree.
What?
I don't.
Do you not see it, Micah?
I don't see it at all.
Okay, I think it's like a bagel.
It's just kind of boring.
It's literally one of the best stop motion animated movies ever.
Oh, I love the stop motion. Like I said, there's a lot of really, really great things in this.
There's so many really good funny bits.
The animation is really cool.
The Mozart hat, Micah. Come on.
But
the pearl fountain, Micah.
I really hate the story. Like, I hate the plot and how it plays out in the movie.
Come on.
It kind of annoys me.
Okay, I think it's perfect. I gave it a 10 out of 10.
I gave it a 3.5.
5 out of 5. It's good. It's a great movie.
It's a good movie. Then on the 5th, I watched The Matrix.
Whoa. That sure is a cool movie.
Still is fantastic.
Perhaps the peak of American blockbusters.
Still really do be good. I don't have too much to say about it.
It's so
The
good,
Matrix.
dude.
It's fantastic.
That's like one of my favorite movies of all time. It's so good.
I gave it a 5 out of 5.
I caught a few scenes of it, and it's fantastic. On the 5th, later after I think you had left for theater,
Yeah.
I watched Puss in Boots for the first time, directed by Chris Miller. And it's not as good as Shrek 2 or Shrek, but it is better than the other Shrek movies, I think. What did I say in my review about it? I said it's nearly nothing like the Shrek series, like tonally, stylistically, it's surprisingly separated. But I thought it was very kinetic and fun. I thought it was a good movie. I said it was like a less refined Rango. If for anyone who's seen Rango.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I really enjoyed the movie when I watched it.
I give it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a lot of fun. Antonio Banderas. He's very good.
Shout out to Antonio Banderas. I can't believe he's not coming back for the next Puss in Boots movie.
Right.
It makes me so sad.
And then on the 6th, I watched the Netflix film Kate for the first time with Mary Elizabeth Weinstein. That was really the big motivator for me to go see it. And she kind of carries this movie on her back for the entire runtime. So, I mean, like, I think it's pretty good. Her performance in this is great. Fight choreography is great. Editing's really fun. Staging's fun. Lighting's fun. It's a fun movie. I liked it a lot. I think Micah caught like the last 10 minutes of it or something.
Yeah, I saw the little bit of the end.
And I want to watch it with him because there's some very fun like sword fighting in it, and just like a lot of fun sequences that you missed.
Yeah, no, it looked cool.
Yeah.
I went to watch it.
Good movie.
At some point.
I mentioned, I had tweeted out while I was watching it that I nearly choked on my quesadilla the first time Mary Elizabeth Weinstein appeared on screen. And I was like, oh my goodness, there she is. Shout out to her, though. She needs more work.
Right.
She's so good in everything I've seen her in.
I mean, like, I'm not even, like, as big of a fan of her as you are, but I have not seen her give a bad performance,
right?
Even in movies with weak screenplays, like Gemini Man.
Exactly. She's so good in everything. For what? She needs more work.
Then on the 7th, I watched Hamlet.
Hamlet?
The 40s Laurence Olivier one.
It made me think you're in your 40s, Micah.
Oh, that doesn't even make sense.
And more like in your like 60s or 70s,
right?
I guess would be more the age range for Shakespeare movies.
I do kind of love it though. I mean, I've always been a really big Shakespeare fan. I don't know what it is, but like, I mean, everybody loves it. Like, there's a bit. Shakespeare is one of the highest regarded like authors of all time,
of just ever, yeah.
Like whatever, but like there's something I very much love about the way he writes dialogue and the way he adapts like classic stories.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
Brilliant writer. I don't know.
Laurence Olivier brought some really cool direction to this. It's extremely atmospheric. Tragedy of Macbeth is very clearly inspired by this movie.
I was about to say, I caught a few scenes of this Hamlet, and it literally just, you could intercut it with Tragedy of Macbeth, and it would probably feel about the same.
The way it's blocked and staged, and even just the deliveries and the way it plays itself are very similar. And I loved Tragedy of Macbeth, so here we are.
Micah's like Tragedy of Macbeth Part 2. Here it is.
Yeah, no, I really loved it. I give it 4.5. I said the end of Hamlet is pretty much just that SNL skit.
Oh my gosh, Dear Sister.
What'd you say?
That sketch is so good. All-timer. Good stuff.
Literally.
I guess I need to watch Hamlet.
Literally, it's just like Hamlet. Now this person dies. Now this person dies. Now this person dies.
It's pretty funny.
But yeah, 4.5. Very, very good. Can't wait to watch another Laurence Olivier Shakespeare movie.
Oh, there you go. On the 9th, our grandparents were in town for your theatrical production, Micah.
My theatrical production of Emma. So
you
guys watched Emma.
We watched Emma, the 1996 Douglas McGrath Emma, not a different one. And dude, this came out a year after Clueless, so I'm just gonna say Clueless had it first. That's all I'm saying. I mean, obviously, I think there was an adaptation before Clueless, but Clueless is better. This one's still really fun, though. I think I'm finally getting the Gwyneth Paltrow hype. She's really good in this. I don't know. Fun movie. I liked the production design a lot. There was like this garden scene where they had like this pillar and there was like a goldfish bowl on top with all the goldfish in it. And that was pretty cool.
I can't wait to watch that Anya Taylor-Joy one.
Yeah, right? No, now I'm really excited for that one, too. Apparently, I just really love the story of Emma. Fun story in general.
Yeah,
but Clueless is easily the best one I've seen. Best version of it. But yeah, fun movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
On the 10th, I watched An American in Paris with my grandparents.
I was about to say, do you have to go to Paris to see An American in Paris?
I had never seen it before.
Amazing.
Gene Kelly, fantastic.
Gene Kelly.
But I will agree with kind of what one person said about this.
It was once said.
It feels it feels so much like it's just Gene Kelly antics. Like that's the entire movie.
Gene Kelly musical shenanigans.
Yeah, like it's really fun, and man, the movie's gorgeous. Like it's one of the nicest looking movies I've ever seen.
Cool.
But like there's not a whole lot of substance here. I compared the ending as they have like a 15-minute musical like nonstop just dancing sequence at the end. And I compared it to the Red Shoes when I watched it, because in the Red Shoes, I cannot look away from their like 15-minute dance number at the end. I'm enthralled. I am euphoric. I am feeling the feelings. Whereas this one, I got pretty bored pretty fast.
Micah's like, hey.
Like it looks good. It has beautiful choreography, but like there was no emotion behind it in the way that I wanted it to, because it was a La La Land like epilogue kind of moment.
Yeah.
But without nearly any of the power that either La La Land or
without
the Red Shoes.
Without Justin Hurwitz behind it is the problem.
But no, like there's still so much about this that you can love. Gene Kelly is great. There's some really fun sequences. Oscar Levant or whatever, he does a really great performance. And I loved his little bit that he had in his dream sequence.
Nice.
That was really cool. Again, the movie looks fantastic. So good. But I gave it a 3.5.
Can't wait to see it. Wow, I'm surprised it's that low, honestly. And then on the 11th, we watched our third David Lynch movie, I believe.
Question mark?
No, my second.
I was about to say, what else?
No, my second David Lynch feature.
Because What Did Jack Do isn't feature.
Yeah, it's not feature. Okay, so if we're counting short films as like my sixth or whatever, but feature length, this is my second David Lynch feature, and it was very good.
Yeah, I really... I'm a sucker for David Lynch. I really am.
Micah, who has a Letterboxd and isn't a sucker for David Lynch?
I loved this movie so much. Darn it.
It's such a wholesome movie.
No, yeah, I had no idea what to expect going into it. I was a little worried because I just naturally am about movies, especially made in the 80s, about like any kind of mental disability, or I mean not mental disability, physical disability, or just disability in general is what I was going
Any
for.
disabled persons in old movies are usually not portrayed very well.
Yeah, mental disabilities, physical disabilities, mental illness, they're all usually portrayed pretty poorly in cinema.
But this is good. I think one of the good ones.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
What do we know?
I'm not very educated on the topic, but I really liked how sympathetic it is to... do they call him John or Joseph? Yeah, Joseph was the real guy. They call him John.
Yeah, John.
To Merrick. John in this film. Yeah. It's based on a true story.
I did not know it was based on a true story at first.
The true story is pretty cool, actually.
Right? Yeah.
And like I said, I was looking up a bunch about this because I love true story stuff. I was looking up a bunch about the real guy, and a lot of it is very accurate, except for kind of a lot of the drama in the second half. Apparently, the real life Joseph Merrick, once he got like into the hospital and people caring for him, he pretty much just had a nice
had a nice little life. That's it. Yeah, there's lots of stuff that happens in this,
but it was very poignant in this movie to do what they did with it. So I very much understand, because again, it doubles down on being extremely sympathetic towards John Merrick.
I said it was one of the most sentimental films I think I've ever seen.
Very, very good. I loved the atmosphere.
Anthony Hopkins is pretty good in this.
Anthony Hopkins is pretty good in this.
Yeah.
I love the way it handles its themes and the character of John Merrick. Again, I'm not very educated in it, but I thought it did good.
I gave it a 4.5.
I gave it a 4.5.
Nice. Wow, I guess we're just in agreement.
Wow. Then I watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit for the first time.
Yeah.
Which was surprisingly really fun.
Were you not expecting to enjoy it?
I'd heard I don't know. I feel like, I don't know from who, because most people on Letterboxd that I follow really like it.
Yeah.
But I'd heard that it was kind of weird, and I had seen some scenes from it, and it was kind of weird. But it's really, really kind of weird. I didn't know it was a straight satire before I got into it. But it's a really, really fun movie. I love 2D combined with like live action. I always have.
I've never seen it done as seamlessly as it is in this.
I mean, it's Robert Zemeckis.
And this was made in the 80s.
What do you want?
That's
it's Robert
crazy.
Zemeckis. When he was actually like being innovative and not just having infinite technology, he was making good movies.
Whoops. Robert Zemeckis has a weird career, man. But yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? This was my second time watching it. I thought it was great. I still think it's great.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say about it. I love the way it commits to its bits in so many ways. It's really, really funny, really, really charming, and pretty inventive overall.
I said in my review, it commits to the bit on an inspiring level.
I gave it 4 stars.
I also gave it 4 stars.
Then afterwards, we watched Moneyball.
Afterwards. Yes.
Which Moneyball?
Luke, again, good friend of the podcast, Luke, one of his favorite movies, Moneyball.
Like the cast, Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, Philip Seymour
Brad Pitt
Hoffman.
is so good in this, and so is Jonah Hill.
No, like the cast does a really great job. I wasn't as impressed with the movie as I was hoping I would be. It's kind of a weird movie.
It's so odd.
Like the way it plays out and the way it deals with its themes and everything. I was just kind of like, huh. That was cool. That was weird.
It's pretty
I
think it's a cool movie.
No, it's a cool movie. It's a fun movie. It has great performances. I wish it was like more of everybody else. Like not less of Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt gives an absolutely outstanding performance, but more of everyone else.
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's in like 2 scenes.
Right? No, I got so excited. I'm like, yay, another Hoffman movie. And then he's in like 5 scenes in the whole movie. I'm like, oh.
Jonah Hill is just kind of there in the background. Like he has at least some more time, but like he's not really doing much.
Jonah Hill's so much fun in this.
And like apparently I looked up how people, because again this is based off of a real life thing.
Weird.
Apparently one of the things that people have complained about the most in terms of its accuracy is how much more it gives credit to Billy Bean than like anybody else. Like not that he wasn't like the one who started it and like got it going, but like it's like this
they
movie,
do make it seem like
this
he's
movie
like
is like Billy Bean's single-handedly
changed the game.
Yeah, it's odd. Very good though.
Yeah,
like its message. Enjoyed a lot.
Shout out to Luke for giving me 2 4.5s as suggestions over the past month.
Yeah, I gave it a 4. I enjoyed a lot of its filmmaking, but it didn't really hit any way powerfully for me like I wanted it to. Like I wanted it to be an emotional ending, and in the end, I was just kind of like,
Fair enough. Yeah, that's a fair criticism.
Then we watched The Bye Bye Man.
Yeah, later that night we watched The Bye Bye Man.
The Bye Bye Man. Which has a 1.5 on Letterboxd.
Criminally low.
Criminally underrated. This movie is an amazing parody of the horror genre, even though it's not meant to be.
I don't even think it's good as a satire of the horror genre. I would argue that it is a good horror movie.
I don't know about
on its own merit.
It's so bizarre and funny.
It is really funny, but I don't think horror movies I think horror movies should be funny, to a degree.
I mean,
I would argue for that,
but like I thought it's not that great overall.
No.
But it's really fun, and like its performances are there's some energy about this movie that I actually really enjoyed watching.
Right?
Like I would watch this again. Because its screenplay is not that great. Its actors are giving hilariously bad performances.
I honestly would attribute most of this movie's greatness to its editing. I think its editing is actually good. Like, not even like just, this is hilariously bad to watch.
It's not bad
I think
editing.
It's great editing. It gives every scene like such a electric feel. Not always in a good way, because of the performances being shaky.
The performances are pretty bad.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
But I don't know. I liked it a lot. I would watch it again.
I give it 2.5.
I said more horror antagonists need animal sidekicks, like in this movie. The Bye Bye Man has such a complicated lore for what
that they don't touch on at all in this movie. Because I looked up. I usually go to the IMDb like trivia page for movies.
Yeah.
And like the Bye Bye Man has like this complex lore, and like the creature that follows him around has like a whole thing. It's so funny.
Shout out to Carrie Ann Moss. I gave it a 3 out of 5.
2.5. Then on the 14th, I guess you watched some stuff.
I did. I watched some more stuff on the 12th, actually.
Oh, wow. You've got you got a couple movies in between.
I watched the coming-of-age 2013 film, The Way, Way Back, which was better than I anticipated. This is probably my favorite. Where is he? I'm trying to remember his name. Sam Rockwell. This is probably my favorite Sam Rockwell movie. He's really good in this. Everything else is fine. I don't know. It's a very fine movie. It's not great. I said it could have used some stronger direction just to make everything mesh better, because it's meant to be a very euphoric movie at the end, and it just doesn't land very well.
Yeah.
But it was fine. I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. It was fun. It feels oddly dated for being made in 2013. Like, it feels like it should have been made in like 2002 or something, not 2013.
No, I get that vibe from a lot of movies.
But yeah, no, it was fun though. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. And then I watched Better Nate Than Ever, the new Disney Plus musical, which is apparently an adaptation of a book, which I've never heard of or read. And it was fun. It was not great, but it was not bad by any stretch. The main kid is actually really good in this. The cast is not outstanding, but like better than a typical Disney Plus fare. I think it has like one really fantastic music sequence in it, like musical theater sequence. But the rest of the movie ranges from all right to just like pretty good. But yeah, a fine movie. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Well, there you go.
And then later that night, I watched Deadware,
which we might as well just talk about the collective Deadware view.
I was about to say
I watched it later that night.
I was about to say I watched it twice in one night, so
which I did with The Visit, by the way.
Good movie, but surprisingly similar in a lot of ways.
Deadware is not what the name of the movie should be, but it was surprisingly a fun, like just genuinely a fun horror movie. It's such a
fun movie, yeah. Like I don't know what it is. It's got good atmosphere. It's got like a fun cast, good fun performances.
Yeah, I don't think the performances are like that great, but it works somehow in the movie.
It's got they're not conventionally good, but I think for the tone this movie sets, I think they're great.
Yeah, and like again, like the usage of its story and everything isn't like inherently conventionally great, but like somehow this movie comes together into being like a really actually like interesting and fun.
It's so weirdly good,
kind of enthralling movie.
Yeah, like I can't look away.
It somehow captures the vibe of watching like a random streamer for the first time.
Exactly, you like hop on Twitch or something.
Indie horror game at like 3 a.m.
It's so weird.
Like it has that vibe.
It catches that vibe so well. I don't know how they did it.
I gave it 3.5.
I gave it a 4 out of 5 both times. I thought it was pretty great.
My review: religious gamer gets manipulated by goth girl to play murder death game. You won't believe what happens next.
That's literally the plot of the movie. I can't believe how overtly goth the lady in this is. It's so funny.
What a whack movie. Then on the 14th, I watched Parasite again.
Parasite! I like half watched it. I was editing.
Shout out to Parasite. Very good.
Shout out to Parasite for being perhaps the best movie.
It's fantastic. I need to watch it more, as we all should.
As we all should watch Parasite at least once every quarter, I believe, is the requirement.
Then on the 15th, we watched Dune again. Watched it with our mom for
Dune,
the first time.
I will finally admit that I think Dune is great. I retract my statements. What the?
Where did that come from?
Micah, why are you playing music right now?
Where did that come from? It's still playing.
Micah, what?
Music just came out of nowhere out of my phone.
Okay, so Dune.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Dune.
Dune. I finally love it.
I was considering, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not as into it now that I've seen it so many times. Maybe. No, it's fantastic. I can't not get chills in so many parts in this, but like I'm so enthralled while watching this movie. It gets so, and again, I know this is increased because I'm a book fan. And like I know
big fan of books,
and I know like a Dune book fan, and I know how the story goes. So like watching this, in my opinion, knowing what's going to happen later in the story is like like galaxy brain levels. Like it's so funny. Insane to just be able to experience the movie, and so many of the sequences are so good, well paced, so interesting. I love, this is probably my favorite way to tackle this kind of sci-fi that I've ever seen. Like the way it breaks into it, the way it uses. I can't talk about this movie enough, man. I
mean, we already did a whole episode on it.
I hadn't watched it in a while, and like I watched it again, and now my hype for Dune is like 100% back up.
Yeah, no, I actually think I bumped it up like a whole star on this viewing. I have it at a 4.5 now, and I think honestly, it's one of the like best edited movies I've seen like in a while. It's just so good. Like there's just like a life to it, and it's a breathing film. If that makes any sense. It's
so enthralling. I love it so much.
I still am not a fan of like a lot of what it's doing, but technically, like on a movie making standpoint, like this is one of the best movies to come out in the past. It's so like good. I don't know, decade or so.
I love the way it uses its themes. I love the way it plays out. It's so good.
I just wish I was more into Dune as a concept.
I know I'm biased just because I love the book so much, but like it's so good. 5 stars.
And then on the 15th, we watched for the very first time.
You didn't say what you rated it, Robbie.
I did. I said I gave it a 4.5.
You said you upped it a whole star.
Yeah, but I don't remember you saying that.
Anyway,
I gave it a 4.5.
We watched for the first time in theaters Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Best movie of 2022 so far.
I had been like hearing a lot of really great things. A lot of people going to theaters. It passed Parasite as the highest average rated movie on Letterboxd,
which is not.
It's not better.
That good.
It's not better than Parasite.
Calm down.
But I watched it, and it is fantastic. I really, really loved it.
Yeah. No, I literally I think it's one of the better movies of the past decade. I think it's great.
Of the decade, honestly. I would love to do an episode on this.
Right.
Again, it would have to be something we'd go rewatch.
Definitely, yeah. I think just one viewing, you're not going to catch everything.
Honestly, for this movie to really understand it, I feel like you got to watch it a lot because there's so much going on.
I think probably the biggest problem I had with it is that it thinks it's way smarter than it is.
Yeah.
But like other than that, I think it's pretty much perfect.
Yeah, and I think actually, that's a great way to put it, because I didn't quite know what was bothering me about it, that I didn't give it 5 stars, because like the filmmaking is outstanding, the writing is really solid, everything about like on a filmmaking level, I think everything is great.
Yeah,
I think it's a very emotional film. I think it's a hilarious film.
It's so funny.
But like where I think it comes off is at the very end. It really does feel like it's like whoa.
It's like whoa, we're galaxy brain right now.
When
guys.
it's really it's a good concept. Yeah. It's a great message, but like it's not
fine. It's not great.
Blowing
it's
anybody's
not
mind
great,
with the actual concept. It's been talked about before.
Right.
But yeah, and I think that general handling of the final bits of its payoff, it's still really good, and it still works really emotionally. But at the same time, it does feel a little bit less than I think it should be. Yeah. That's like the only problem.
I said in my review that it's pretty much just The Matrix if you made it today. It's like literally.
Yeah, it's. I think you put it like it literally is The Matrix for internet brain.
Yeah, for the internet brains out there, it's literally just The Matrix. But yeah, very good. I love The Matrix.
I give it 4.5. I probably could up it to a 5. I just didn't feel the 5 at the time. But
fair
like,
enough.
And I on my rankings and stuff, I put it above several 5-star movies.
Yeah, I have this at the top, not for the decade, but for the year. Because it's going to be so hard to top Licorice Pizza.
It made my top 5 for the decade.
Yeah.
Then on the 17th, oh wait, no, you have something else on the 16th.
What was this? That was 2 days ago. Wow. I watched Elementa, I believe is how you pronounce it. And it is a documentary with no dialogue. I assumed it was going to be narrated, but then it wasn't. It's literally just like a nature.
It was.
It's just like a nature ambience documentary, and it was a lot of fun. It seems like something I would make, not always in a good way. Like, a lot of the things that I think would be problems if I ever made a movie are here. Like, there's so many like split screens and dissolve transitions in this. It makes me happy, but it also kind of undercuts some of the stuff happening. So, but yeah, I had fun with it. I did it. I had a secret motive, Micah.
Motive.
I'm trying to fill in all of the countries on my like world map of films I've seen, and this has like 16 production countries.
Oh my gosh!
So it filled in like a bunch of my map, but it was also very good. Like I don't regret watching it. So it was a means to an end, but it was a good means to an end.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I gave it a 4.5.
So then on the 17th, I finished Jesus of Nazareth.
Ayo.
I had been watching it like over the week because it's 6 hours. But I enjoyed it.
6 hour movie. It was no big deal.
It was fun. It was cool to finish on Easter. It's it's a movie. It's a big biblical studio production, and it's exactly what you would expect from that. It's got some really good elements. There were actually surprisingly some scenes that I really loved. But like outside of that, there's not a whole lot to grasp onto. I really didn't like the portrayal of Jesus. It focused on a weird amount of things. One thing I will say that I liked about its writing, like the way it was structured out, is more so than a lot of biblical adaptations I have seen. It actually, one of its main focuses was on like just the women and what they were doing,
Good.
what they were up to, and their influences. And I was like, yeah, that's neat.
The influence of women.
Because like outside of that, like it hardly spends a whole lot of time on the disciples at all, which is wild for the Jesus
bizarre
story.
Choice, honestly, because those are the people he spent like most of his time with.
But again, it literally bounces from Jesus event to Jesus event with nothing in between.
Kind of weird.
No, it's a very odd like thing. But I gave it a 3.5. I said at the in my review, I said very evident that this was from a Shakespeare director. Unfortunately, without the actual story qualities of Shakespeare as a source material, and it not wanting to change anything or add anything, it comes off as pretty dry.
Micah's like Shakespeare equals better than the Bible.
Very different.
Completely different documents.
Then last night.
But it's a funny joke, Mike.
Then last night, I wanted to watch something and it started getting really late. So I looked around for something short, and I had been wanting to rewatch this for a while. I watched The Adventures of Prince Ahmed.
Pretty good movie. Great movie, even.
Considered the first feature-length animated movie.
Ayo.
By a female writer and director.
Which, pretty crazy, actually.
Right? So
shout out to women for real. We gotta have
which they needed. They need the shout out from this. It's a pretty direct adaptation of Arabian Nights, which is not a great story for women.
Arabian Nights. Oh my gosh.
the poor woman in this movie.
Micah, we need a nice dose of feminism after watching Prince Ahmed.
The poor woman in this movie. She gets like sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, kidnapped, then kidnapped again, then kidnapped a third time.
Gets kidnapped so many times.
And then like she only gets clothes like halfway through. Like he kidnaps her while she's bathing naked.
Yeah.
Again, the poor woman in this movie. Like I said, the only reason I'm like whatever with this movie is it's a direct adaptation of Arabian Nights, and it's written and directed by a woman. So like I will give it its pass for time period, because like man,
dang.
But this movie is actually absolutely gorgeous.
It's could you imagine watching this like alone with headphones? That's the idea.
I mean, I didn't have headphones, but that's pretty much what I did. Yeah. Which is why I wanted to do it like that. But it's so beautiful. I don't think its pacing fully works, unfortunately. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of the way the poor woman is treated in this movie.
Right.
But like I want to make a movie that looks like this. Like even if it's not inherently cutouts like this, because the cutout movement is really, really unique, but I would want to make a movie that looks like this. The use of color is outstanding. The use of its camera tricks are really, really cool. It just looks so good. And I really like the music. So I'm rather a big fan. I give it 4 stars.
Cool. Yeah. And that's what we watched.
Yeah, I watched that late last night.
It took us a while, but we got there.
But yeah, we watched a lot of good movies,
right?
A lot of movies in general.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, the beginning of April was way lighter than it would have been because
we were out of town and
we were out of town,
theater thing,
and then I had a show.
Yeah,
and so like we just didn't watch as many movies, which is a good thing, being that we didn't record any episodes because otherwise we'd be here for like 3 hours.
Right. But yeah, it was good. Do you have a handful of favorites from this batch of new watches, Micah?
For
First
new watches,
yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once was fantastic. Hamlet, I really, really enjoyed. The Godfather, Pig.
Nice.
Because I'm trying to go back to watching them for the first time. Lessons of Darkness was really, really good. Yeah, cool. I want to finish the Planet of the Apes trilogy really bad, but the Blu-ray I bought for them at Goodwill was just the first 2 movies.
Yeah, my 4.5s or higher from this past little bit that were like first watches are Tick Tick Boom, Pig, Bringing Up Baby was great, Sorry to Bother You, The Godfather, The Elephant Man, also great. Moneyball, Dune finally got bumped up to that. It wasn't a first watch.
I was just doing first watches.
And then Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Because if I went within that,
well, no. I just mentioned Dune because I bumped it up to that high. Obviously, it wasn't a first watch. I think that was like my 3rd time watching it.
But yeah, again, if you're okay with the content in it, go watch Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Same with The Godfather.
Go watch The Godfather. Go watch The Elephant Man.
Same with Sorry to Bother You, actually.
The Elephant Man's pretty darn clean.
Yeah, The Elephant Man's PG.
Go watch Hamlet.
Go watch it.
Hamlet's a little creepy, but it's not. It's clean.
Okay.
Bringing Up Baby.
Yeah, go see Bringing Up Baby, man.
Go watch Lessons of Darkness. Yeah, just go watch movies.
Go watch some movies.
Go watch some good movies.
That's my recommendation.
We've been gone for a while, but I hope you guys have just been watching good movies.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll catch you next week. Hopefully we'll
probably be doing
Batman?
The Batman.
Probably. But we'll see.
Yeah, who knows?
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.